All right, this is just a short video to show you how to change, edit, add, or delete your macros in Katana. So once you got your Katana system, you may have noticed that it came pre-populated with all of these different categories slash buttons here at the top in your macros section. You can see that these are generalized macros to cover basis for most offices. This is your daily soaps, new patient information, x-ray, evaluations, soaps, uh, other soaps. There's all different ones that you can look through to decide which is a best fit for your office and the way that you manage care with your practice members. If you don't want all of these up here, these buttons, which you probably don't, what I would recommend doing is going to this little wheel here at the top right, clicking on that, and there you can start to clean up your button categories. You can see that all of those buttons that are across the top are sitting right here. You can scroll down, click on one, you can edit it, delete it, or add your own. Completely up to you. But I would recommend right off the bat looking through them, testing them, and then getting rid of ones that you won't use because it will make this area a lot prettier. Next, what you want to do is once you get into the categories and buttons that you love, you can start to make these a little bit more tailor fit for the way that you would write out your own notes. So here you can see these are all the buttons. First off, just a little pro tip, these buttons, after they're created, actually can be moved. So you can, well, let me just get rid of that. Hold it down and move the button. You know, it's just not letting me do stuff today. Hold it down and move the button from one spot to the other. You can only do that stuff when you're in drag drop mode. That means that you're editing your button mode. As you can see, I made the mistake and didn't notice I wasn't there before. Down here at the bottom, you can also see notes mode. That's when you're just using your buttons like normal. All right. So again, drag drop mode puts you in edit. You can move buttons around anywhere you want. You can also edit your buttons. So ones that are already created, you can see when you hover over them, they turn this light blue color. You just right click and it's going to put you into this macro palette and button properties. Down here is the button name, the color, and the macro that's linked to it. So you can add certain macros that already exist into that button or create your own. So here's the deal. I want to go to a button that isn't created. So I'm just going to highlight and hover over it right here. And I want to right click it. And now you'll see we're in a blank button. I'm going to call this thermo. We'll call it for short for thermography. And I'm going to make this teal. Now I need a macro, so languaging, that's going to be linked to this button. So I'm just going to click add, and I want to use my standard macro to enter into one of the soap note fields. As soon as I click that, I can call this thermo again. And because I'm going to be using computerized infrared thermography on my patients, this is going to be an objective test. So I want this to populate into the O portion of the macro. And another pro tip, you always want to insert this stuff at the end, and then you can move it in within the paragraph from there. I never like to put it at the top or anything like that because it gets a little bit confusing. So standard, I like to keep this end. What do I want the macro to say when I click the button? I could say computerized red was performed. You get the drift. I could say computerized infrared thermography was performed and indicated that the patient was in pattern. I would put the whole thing there, then click OK. And now that macro is linked to that button. Now let's test that baby out. We're going to click the notes mode. Now, when we click our thermo button, boom, we see it pre-populates right into the O portion of our soaps, just like we wanted. So when I'm seeing a patient, if they're in pattern, I can quickly hit the thermography button and it's going to populate those soap notes for me. That is how you edit them. That is how you change them. That is how you move them around. And again, if I didn't like how this read, I could just hover over, right click. It gets me right back into here. I can click the macro, hit edit, and go in and change anything that's necessary. Side note, there's also other macro prompters that you can utilize, multiple choice. You can click on body parts. You can pre-populate dates or patient info, or even pick 1 through 10 number value if you're doing something like the VAS scale. So listen, this is completely customizable to make it exactly what you want it to look like. Lastly, the soap notes that I love the most that I created for my offices are just like this. And what I did was I created the different colors to be the different sections. So these are all S, these are all O, A, and P. So that as the doctor is navigating through them, it's very easy to see, it's clean to look at, and quick to use. I hope that helped you understand a little bit more how to create your macros your own so that we can speed up the time that you're spending with people in the office and make sure that you're getting those notes done quickly and efficiently.